Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch Bossk figure from Hasbro Toys. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've seen with the other figures in this series. You've got the window box packaging, so the figure's clearly displayed. You can see his accessories as well. You've got a little medallion image up in the top corner of the character. Then down below you've got the Star Wars The Black Series logo, the name of the character. You've got the blue Death Star type border lighting in the back, and the name is also in blue, and it tells us that this is figure number 10 in the series. Basically the series with the blue bordering packaging. The previous series had the orange borders. Then on the back of the packaging you have the Star Wars logo up at the top. You've again got the name of the character, a little brief bio, says Bossk is one of the bounty hunters hired by Darth Vader to search for the Millennium Falcon and its rebel crew. Then you have a image of the character done in all kind of black and silver. Shows Bossk standing on the Star Destroyer bridge with his fellow bounty hunters. Again, you have those blue border lights on the back. And then down below you got some legal writing and the Disney and Hasbro logos. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, and I think overall Hasbro's done a really nice job with the sculpting on this figure. I really like how Hasbro basically sculpted the scales on his head and his arms and his bottom of his legs and feet. I also like how they've done the toes and how they kind of curve down. That looks really good, and he's also got like little claws that stick out the back of his legs towards the bottom. He's got those weird things that you see a lot of pilots wear in the Star Wars universe. I'm not exactly sure what they're supposed to be, but you see them on the X-Wing pilots too and stuff. So he's got those, and he's got the web gear that you see him wearing. Again, kind of like what we saw on the X-Wing fighter Luke figure. Done the same way basically. It's a separate piece, but it's not really removable from the figure. And then he's got this added apparatus. I guess it's like a breathing apparatus, and it goes around. Basically has two hoses that come around to the back and hooks on this back belt. And he's also got another hose on his back. It's red as opposed to the gray for the web gear. And then it comes around and fits in his stomach. So overall, just nice detail. He's also got these little logos on both of his arms. Another cool thing that this figure has is he actually has a working jaw. They gave him an articulated jaw, so you can either have his mouth open or closed. And he's got like a tongue sculpted in there, so that's really cool. Kind of like you saw in the Empire Strikes Back when he's growling at the Imperial officer. So I really like that. Little bit of messy paint work on the eyeballs, but nothing too bad. One eyeball looks a little bigger than the other, but again, not anything major there. Some nice wash work on the skin, on the brown skin, to give added texture to those scales. So yeah, again, I think that looks good. The suit is, basic yellow, though it's a darker yellow than my 3 1/4 inch figure. The yellow on the 3 1/4 inch is a much brighter yellow, or a lighter color yellow. So, I actually kind of like the yellow on the 6-inch figure better than on the 3 1/4 inch. And he's got that white vest. Again, like you see a lot of pilots wear, like the X-Wing fighter pilots. So the figure's actually pretty tall. He's about 6 1/4 inches tall. He's definitely taller than like the Luke Skywalker and X-Wing fighter pilot. He really towers over Luke. He's also taller than Han Solo, though not quite as tall as he is of Luke. Luke's definitely one of the shorter figures in this series. He's even a little bit taller than Boba Fett. I don't remember exactly if Bossk is supposed to be that tall in the movie. I don't remember him being taller than Boba Fett, and he's certainly not, that much taller than Fett, but he is definitely a little bit taller. So again, I can't say if the scale is exactly correct. Okay, so the figure comes with one accessory, his rifle, like you traditionally see past Bossk figures come with. The rifle is done in an all kind of flat black color, so there's not a lot of detail, but as far as sculpting or paint apps on the gun. But it looks pretty true to what we see him using in the movie. It does have a strap on it. The strap is a kind of beige color, and it is flexible, moves. It's not removable or anything though. Well, actually, I take that back. You can, actually it does come unbuckled, so if you wanted to, you could remove the strap. So that's good. Of course, getting it back on there could be a little bit of a challenge. It looks like it's just got a little silver piece. So yeah, that's pretty good. It is removable. And then you can get him to put this, like the gun around his shoulder. But if you want it to keep from like falling off, you really kind of have to stick the strap in his hand so it kind of tightens it against his shoulder. But once you do that, it does stay on his shoulder pretty good. And then he only can hold the gun in his left hand with the way the fingers are sculpted. And you have to be kind of careful because when you're putting it in the hand, it does kind of bend the way the gun is sculpted. It does kind of bend the back end of the gun. So depending on how you pose it, it can look a little funny. It's kind of same problem that you had with the Boba Fett gun. Now I do want to note that they kind of reversed the hands between the 3 1/4 inch figure and the 6 inch figure. On the 3 1/4 inch figure, it was the right hand that basically they sculpted the hand to hold the gun, and then the left hand that was the fingers that were basically completely straight out with those web fingers. So they basically reversed that on the 6 inch figure. So articulation on the figure is pretty good. The head is on your standard kind of ball hinge joint, so he's got good rotation. He can look left and right with no problem, and he's got some up and down movement at the head as well. Not a whole lot, but some. Then as I mentioned before, he has that articulated jaw. The arms are on your standard ball hinge joints. Now with the way the outfit on the sleeves are sculpted, you can only get his arm up about that much, but that's pretty good for the most part, and he does have good rotation there. He does not have a bicep swivel. He does have a swivel at the elbow though, single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. Then he has the swivel, and he does have the hinge at the wrist. It's actually kind of at a weird, the hinge is kind of at a weird, it's that more up and on the side, so you can do the wrist up and down, kind of like the lightsaber wielding figures that we've seen in this line. He does have a midsection swivel, though you can't really swivel it too much because of the hoses and everything, so you can only turn it a little bit. He's got the ball hinge joints. Again, because of the gear that he's wearing, you can only do the splits about that much. He has a thigh swivel. He can get his leg forward about that much, and then he can kind of do it out and back. He has a double jointed knee, so that's nice. He has a swivel at where the boot cuff basically, and then he has the ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I really like the figure. I think Hasbro's done a nice job with the sculpting on the scales and everything. I also like the articulated jaw. I think the head sculpt overall looks really good on this figure. So, it looks really nice. The paint apps, for the most part are decent. Again, a little bit of sloppiness with the eyeballs, but nothing too major. I think it does look true to what we see in the movie, so no complaints there. Articulation is decent, so and it'll fit in nicely with Boba Fett, and hopefully should go nice with IG-88, which will soon be released. This figure has not yet hit shelves, but it should be shortly, so start keeping an eye out for it. It'll be shipping with, I believe, the Han Solo and Stormtrooper Disguise assortment. So that's my review. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.